And now a World News investigation, and we want to warn you, the language about this practice will be graphic. But every year, almost 3 million young girls around the world are subjected to the cultural tradition called genital cutting. It is required by their families to make the girls chaste and eligible for marriage. And now American doctors are being drawn into the terrible choice. Do they do something symbolic in an effort to prevent something worse? See what you think as our own Dr. Richard Besser reports.
It was the most horrifying day of my life.
He did it with the scissors.
My mom went through it, my grandmother went through it.
It was the day I was going to become a woman.
Women talking about the moment that they were cut. Female genital cutting. Most commonly done before puberty, some young girls will have their clitoris completely removed and their vaginas sewn shut to preserve their virginity. And it's not just girls in Asia or Africa. These days, you'll find young women confronting it right here in America.
It's worse than anything in this world.
I spoke to 2 young women living in America whose voices we altered and who asked to be interviewed in shadow for fear of retribution from their community.
What would your parents say if they knew that you were speaking to me about this?
They would kill me.
They'd kill you?
Yeah. Literally. One of my sisters died from it.
One of your sisters died?
Yeah.
How old was she?
She was a week.
1 week old.
This young woman had the most severe form of cutting done back in her home country.
Have you had it undone?
Yeah. I had stitches, so they had to take it out. But that was the only thing they undid. The other things, it can't be changed.
The procedure has been officially banned in the United States since 1996. But some immigrant parents, wanting to stay true to their traditions, ask their American doctors to cut their daughters.
What the mom of the patient says is, I want to have this procedure that makes my daughter like me.
For these physicians, a dreadful dilemma. If they say no, tens of thousands of young girls may be taken back to their home countries in a process grimly known as vacation cutting, where once there, the girls are often cut using broken glass or unsterilized razor blades, and more often than not, without anesthesia. This is Doug Diekema, a pediatrician who thought he found a compromise and created a furor.
If you look up any definition of mutilation in the dictionary, it doesn't apply to this particular procedure.
He led an ethics committee of the American Academy of Pediatrics that came up with an option. American doctors could employ a ritual nick as an alternative, a pinprick to keep parents from going further.
The cut itself would be tiny, really a pinprick of the hood of the clitoris.
What the AAP statement does is perpetuate female genital mutilation. There is no other way around it.
We asked our young women to weigh in.
I'm a pediatrician. What do I do if I'm seeing a family and they want to take their daughter back to their country to have this done? And they say, well, you could do a nick and then we won't take them back to our country. What do I say to them?
Call child service on them.
After we confronted the AAP with questions, they withdrew their policy statement, saying it had caused too much confusion and controversy. They now oppose all forms of female genital cutting, including the ritual nick. It still leads back to the same question. What do we do for the many young girls waiting for an answer? They are not giving up the fight.
Hard things to talk about.
Yeah.
Very brave.
Maybe we can't change their generation, but we could change our own generation. Because we know it's wrong. There is nothing right about this.
And again, we wanted to protect them. And Rich, such a tough subject. But in England, it is against the law for families to take the young girls overseas to do this. What about here?
Well, there has been legislation introduced to Congress. It's not clear whether it will pass this year, even though it has bipartisan support. And then the other question is whether this will eliminate the procedure or simply drive it underground.